Hi, I'm Janet Skates and welcome to my new YouTube channel. I am at home right now in my studio where I paint, and I wanted to do a quick video on some of the questions that I get asked most frequently besides what supplies I use. And there's a series on my YouTube channel. I think it's the very first video that I uploaded on the supplies that I use most often in most of my work, so you can check that out if you have questions about that. The question that people ask often is, how do I begin a painting? And a lot of times people are intimidated by a blank canvas or blank page, and the easiest way to get going is to get something on the canvas or the page, so it just makes you push right over that fear or that anxiety about starting. So you can take a pencil or a paint pen or just a paintbrush and some extra paint and just slap it on there. Just literally just make some marks and do some swirls with your paintbrush or a sponge. Sponge is a great way to start. Take a sponge and just make some marks on it. And once you get started, it's easy after that. It just pushes you right on into that and releases your energy so you can get moving on a piece. That's what I do. I start oftentimes with the Stabilo All Pencil, which I talk about in my supply videos. But I start with this pencil and I'll make some marks, or sometimes I'll just take some paint that's on my palette and just get it on there and get going. So that's how I begin. Before I start, let me backtrack just a little bit. Before I start painting though, I always have my Pandora on. I always have my music going. I have lots of different stations, and I have a few just painting playlists that I use when I'm painting, and those are fabulous. So I urge you to take some of your favorite songs, your favorite music, and design your own playlists. I listen to classical sometimes. I listen to relaxing spa music or what have you, but mostly I listen to like Lord Huron and Alt J and whatever. So do that. And then I start with, a lot of times I have incense going, or I use my favorite sprays or my atomizer with some of my favorite oils. Sweet orange and clove is a great creative aromatherapy to get you going. So that's what I do to get set up and stretch a little and get going on a canvas. So that's how I begin. Next question, let's see, how long does a painting take? I have no idea, and I couldn't possibly time how long paintings take me, because I'll paint for a little bit and then I usually go do something else and come back and come and go and what have you. My work has a lot of detail in it. As you can see, I've got this piece behind me, and the light's not really great on this, but you can see a lot of the detail, and this takes time. I usually do 2 or 3 layers of paint before I start with the more mark making and detail, and then I'll come in after that and kind of tweak. Like when this piece was done, I let it rest for a day or two, and then I came back in and made a couple of major changes, and then added a little line work, and it was finished. So I would guess somewhere between maybe 7 and 10 hours just straight work on this, but that's a guess. And this is a 3 foot by 4 foot canvas, so it depends. But even smaller canvases sometimes take longer because they have more detail. I paint intuitively, and I've heard people say, you know, that intuitive painting, unless you paint quickly, it's not really intuitive painting. Whatever. I know how I paint, and I don't paint fast all the time. Sometimes I really take my time and get into the detail and the color, but for me that's a meditative process. So it's not really that I'm planning, it's more that I'm just feeling my way through it, and that's what I consider intuitive painting. So however long it takes you to do it and feel great about it is how long it takes to finish painting. So, and I do recommend letting them rest for a little bit. Sometimes I do that and come back and take a different look. Other ones I'm finished and I know that they're good and they're done, but whichever. You can't go wrong if you take a little break. The next question is, let's see. do I begin with a color palette in mind? Usually I have a couple of colors in mind when I start, and that is oftentimes a color that will come to me either when I'm dreaming or when I wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. I literally will wake up sometimes like this is going to be a sunflower gold and pink day, or a teal and magenta day, or you know, I'm feeling fall today or something like that. So I probably do have a little bit of color in mind, but I don't have a plan for like the finished piece of work. So I might come in and grab, you know, grab a teal and a pink and some quinacridone magenta and some white, and start with that and start expanding on that. And after that, I just start picking up whatever, lilac or whatever as it evolves. So I don't start with, you know, a planned palette. If I pull out a couple of colors and I see a few more and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this, then I lay a little of all of that out of my palette, and then I begin to mix, and that's how that happens. And that's what works for me. You can also do a color plan, and if you have trouble with color, if you struggle with color, a great idea is to take a picture of a color scheme that you like, or a room that you like out of a magazine, or a painting that you like, or whatever works for you, and pull some of those colors out, and you're safe to stick with that. If you know that you like that and it works, start with that, and it takes the guesswork out, you know, when you're just beginning painting. So that's something you can try. I just kind of work mine as I go, unless I'm doing like a commission piece and someone particularly wants a color or colors in their painting. I'm thinking that's probably the best hint I have for working with color. Keep your color wheel out if you have a little, they're very inexpensive, but or you can make your own little color wheel, and that's a great thing to refer to help you when you're painting if you struggle with color, and a lot of people do. So, you know, pull that out and start with that. So I'm going to finish up this video now. I hope it answers a few fun questions, and if you have other questions, you are welcome to email me at Janet, K-A-Y-E, Skates, Janet K. Skates at yahoo.com, or you can message me on Instagram. I'm at Janet Skates Art. You can chat with me on my website. It is janetskates.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Janet Skates. And you can message me, and I will be happy to answer your question or other questions. And I hope that you enjoy these fun videos. You can also, if you want to learn with me, you can check out my coursecraft.net videos. I have several classes available, and I'm adding new ones shortly. So you can try those out and paint along step by step with me with unlimited access and replay, and it's a step-by-step video course. So I hope you enjoy, and thanks for visiting my YouTube.